Hi and welcome back. Today I will make an abstract watercolor spread and I will use this color palette. It's picked from an old watercolor art journal page I have made a while ago, and I have prepared some different mediums. I have some water-soluble and non-water-soluble crayons with some of the colors and also some Posca paint pens and of course my watercolors. I will start with the non-water soluble crayon because it will build kind of a resist against the watercolors, but depending on the paper this does only work if you apply a thick layer of the crayon with I would say closed or connected surface, and my scribble circle is just too light and loose, so the watercolors go into it and then it doesn't look really like a resist. So here you can see that it completely covers up that circle. I can see it in real life that it peeks through a little bit, but not really good, and it's also not possible to bring it back by picking up some of the color, so I just go over it and I will redraw that circle later when everything is dry. I'm using a sponge to just wipe something of the color. I got this from Artix, the brand that sent me the Paul Rubens metallic watercolors, and these sponges are so funny because they have a banana shape, and I'm just blending the color. To me, these pages are just some experimenting, playing with color, playing with marks and texture, and it's a relaxing process. The colors that I've been using so far is an olive green, and that's a Naples yellow. And here you can see that the resist really works. You just have to apply a thicker layer. And the color I'm using here is the Quincachridone Red. I changed my brush and switched to a rigger brush. This one is from the Black Tulip brush set. I recently got this to try it out, and that one is my absolute favorite brush because I didn't have any rigger brush in that size, and it's perfect for fine lines. I often start my days by creating such a spread because I always have one step where I let everything dry before I come back to add another layer. And usually I start painting this in the mornings, and later in the day when I have just some minutes I come back to finish up such a page. This guarantees me to have at least about 15 or 20 minutes creative time each day. What's important about these kind of pages, they have, I believe, always an ugly stage. They never look pretty during the whole process, and then I think some people tend to stop painting because they don't like it anymore. But that's normal. It becomes this not so pretty page in between, and you work on it and you create and you add different layers, and then it usually starts looking interesting and better. So I would say always finish your spreads, never leave them unfinished because you think that they are not pretty. In the end, it's only about the process and that you are focusing on what you're doing, and that's so relaxing for your mind, and that's the most reason to do this, I believe. For me, it's the biggest reason. Being creative and painting or crafting or making something with my hands leads my focus onto what I'm doing, and so I have no time to think about any bad stuff or other things or things I have to do, and that is very healthy, I would say. Here I'm scribbling into the wet paint with the water-soluble Neocolors, and by the way, the blue I have added was the turquoise blue. At this stage, I definitely miss some contrast, and sometimes it's very difficult to add a really dark color because you can be afraid to ruin your whole page. Here I'm picking the Paynes gray. It's almost a black color, and I just go in, and immediately I was sure that this is the right decision. The dark color brings the other colors more into focus, and they shine more, I feel. If you like this video, you will find some others that are similar on my channel. I will link up the playlist at the end cards. I love to mix between sharp edges and sharp lines and pleated areas, so I'm just blending in some of the black into my first layer. I also didn't like that bleeding of the lines, so I just covered them up. I will now let everything dry completely and then come back and add some more texture and marks with the crayons and the Posca paint pens. And I'm starting by redrawing that circle I have added in at the beginning, and I just scribble it over this area. I prefer the Neocolor II crayons on top because they are more creamier, and here I always pick the wrong one, and they give you more pigment. And I know that I won't go over anything with water again, so it's not important to make sure that it's waterproof. I decided I want to add some stamping to my spread. I'm using just a dye-based ink. It's not important if it's waterproof or not. You can use any kind of ink here. And I'm just stamping some images from the Pencil Marks stamp sets. Talking about stamps, I want to mention that we are back from holidays and shipping starts today. That means all your orders that came in while we were away will start going out today. I decided I want to have kind of a main image, and therefore I'm using this leaf stamp, and I will paint in every single leaf with the Posca paint pen in white so it stands out from the background. Where my post-it note covered up the spread, I just redraw the leaves with a graphite pencil. Here I'm painting in the leaves, and I will speed up this process a little bit more because this takes a bit of time. I painted them in twice to make sure they are covered up very well. I also decided to add some more white marks to make that white pop up again in another area, and I'm creating just some tiny dots over some of the black areas. And that is my spread for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and you are maybe inspired to create something. And I wish you a wonderful weekend. Bye.